Hey, welcome back, guys. I'm Trevor Horn. Final segment here. We're only doing 3 segments today, holiday season. I, like the rest of you, want to go and get ready for Turkey. I'd be remiss if I didn't go over a few other things. Cross country, yes, we had the McFarland girls in, but I just want to go over a few things. We have Shafter boys in D2. They won the D1 title. And D5 girls, BCHS won the Valley title, so they'll be going as a team. Also, Liberty girls in D3, and then the wonderful prep out of Delano, D5 boys were section champs, so they'll be running as a team. If you're looking at the top other individuals on the boys' side, Julia Aragoyan out of Shafter, he ran a 15:56. He's got a good chance for a medal. Also, Robert Sagasta at Liberty. Anthony Morones at Ridgeview won the D3 section title. And then Marcus Moda, only a freshman over at Stockdale, took 5th in the D1 race on Saturday. And the other girls to look for, obviously, Cagney Duncan in D3, who's a 2-time section title winner. Paradise Pelcher out of North. And then Maggie Baker in D1 for Bakersfield. And also in volleyball news, we've got 3 teams left in the Central Section Championship. In the SoCal regional playoffs in the semifinals in D5. Fraser Mountain will be on the road, not a far trip. They'll be at Santa Clarita Christian on Saturday at 7 o'clock. And then at 6 o'clock, Bakersfield Christian. It's an all Kern County semifinals in the D4 SoCal semifinals. It's Bakersfield Christian at Desert, so that game is going to be on the base down at Edwards, so that'll be a good match. So that actually gives us a guaranteed Kern County team in the SoCal D4 finals, which will be December 1st at the highest seed. That's most likely going to be at Laguna Blanca out in Santa Barbara. That's a bummer deal that I may have to go to Santa Barbara on Tuesday. One of the perks of this job. So let's go right into football now. John, we've got the slides, so let's go right through these. We've got about 10 minutes. We're going to go through 8-man Southern Section Championships. It's 2 undefeated teams, Avalon at Mojave. Mojave hasn't lost a game in 2 years, and that was in the 8-man semifinals at Avalon. What a trip they have to take. You got to go out to the Catalina Island. So here's an Avalon team that has to leave the island and come all the way up to Mojave. Zach and I both have Mojave winning this one and the D8 8-man title. I'm actually going to go through all 12 of the Central Section semifinals. So let's go ahead and start off with this one. Here on the bottom half of the D6, it's Sierra Pacific at Avenel. Sierra Pacific at Avenel. I believe that Zach and I both have Avenel win this one. Yeah, Zach has it 27-21, and then I have it 21-19. On the top half, Kern County semifinals, Cal City, great season. They're 8-3. They're at Kennedy, who's also 8-3. Kennedy obviously plays up in a D3, D4 league and South Sequoia League. Great season for Cal City, but it looks like Zach and I both believe that the Ravens season will end and Kennedy will go on to the second consecutive D6 section title after the Thunderbirds won last season. David Cepeda is an 1,800-yard rusher for Kennedy. Zach has a 37-20 Kennedy. I have it 48-20 Kennedy. Move on to D5. No Kerr County teams in D5, so we'll run through these really quickly. Here's Woodlake at number 1, Emmanuel. Both of us have Emmanuel, who has presumably been the top team in D5 all season, so we have Emmanuel both moving on. Zach's got a 37-17. I got 45-28. On the bottom half of it, it is Mendota at Dos Palos. Mendota is now in the division semifinals for the 8th consecutive season. Zach believes that Mendota will be back in the section finals for the first time since 2013. They had a stretch of 3 straight years that went to the section title games. Zach has Mendota going back 21-17. I have Dos Palos winning at home 14-12. Moving on to D4 action. Kerman, Chowchilla. Chowchilla, might be the number 1 team lately in D4 with CVC losing to Kerman. That was actually the biggest upset last week. So Kerman is at number 4, Chowchilla. Chowchilla beat Kerman earlier in North Sequoia League play, 46-21. Both of us have Chowchilla winning this one. Zach has a 38-24. I have it 28-14. And on the opposite side of the bracket, Chavez, the Titans, looking to advance to the school's first ever section title game. They're playing Washington Union. Washington Union is a team that's been playing very well with quarterback Ashanti Ross under center. So it'll be very interesting to see what they can do in this one. Chavez, though, has a very great defense. They got a good quarterback, good running back. They play a very well-rounded game. but Zach hasn't. He even says it, he may look stupid in this one, but he has Washington Union winning 23-21, whereas I have Chavez winning 42-26. D3, San Joaquin Memorial getting Tulare Western. Zach and I differ on this one. He has Tulare Western winning 24-23. I have San Joaquin Memorial winning 21-20. So both of us have this in a toss-up game, but we differ. So that'd be a good one. On the opposite side, Golden Valley, the 12 seed. Obviously, Golden Valley was the team that went up to Fresno and beat Fresno High in the 12-5 in the first round. Then last week they beat Highland at home in the 12-13 matchup. So here are the Bulldogs going to number one. Sorry, that shouldn't read Liberty. I apologize about that. They're playing at number one Hanford, who's 10-1. The Bullpups look like the top team in D3 all season long, still playing like it. Zach and I both have Hanford winning this one. Zach has a 41-13 Golden Valley. I have it 35-20 Golden Valley. Moving on, D2 on the bottom half of the bracket, it is Sanger and Lemoore. Zach and I, this is another one of those games that we differ on, where I see Sanger on the road winning this one, 21-14. Zach has Lemoore winning 20-16. So another close one, and we differ on this one. On the top half of the bracket, it's Ridgeview playing Sunnyside. Here's Ridgeview in the semifinals for the 6th consecutive season. Ridgeview looking for a 5th consecutive section title game. Obviously, they went to 3 straight in D3, winning one of those. And last year, they beat Dinuba for the D2 title. So Ridgeview looking for that rare chance to go to a 5th consecutive section title game at home. Sunnyside, very well coached team. They've got great athletes. They're big up front. But it's one of those things where Ridgeview, I talked to Dennis Manning, the head coach today, went up there, talked to him for a little bit. And, he talked about, keeping the fire going week in and week out. And this is one of those games when you've got guys like Lawrence White at quarterback and a defensive back, playing defensive back, Darius Smith. You've got a lot of great seniors, Ricky Leon Y, Timmy Lalea. I mean, this is a very Chase Mears. It's a very senior-heavy team. And you look at Dennis Manning, a guy who's 15-4 in section playoff games since he took over at Ridgeview. This team does not lose very often in the big games, and they're at home once again in the semifinals. Zach and I both have Ridgeview winning this one. He has it 47-30. I've got it 42-28 with Ridgeview moving on. Let's move over to D1. We got 2 games left, about 4 minutes left in this one. On the top half of the bracket, it's Clovis North, number 5. They're 7-4 this season against number 1 Clovis, 10-1. You look at this Clovis team, the only loss they've had this season was to Central. There was that whole, thought process of, what was going on because Central did play with 13 players in that final drive. Here's a Clovis team with quarterback Sean Kingsinger, and then he's got 2 great receivers, J.J. Wills and Colton Velasquez. The Cougars have been playing quite well, but Clovis North, the Broncos are playing very well in their own right. Zach and I once again differ in this. He's got number 1 seed Clovis winning 35-27, where I've got the upset, Clovis North beating Clovis 28-26, which would set up a home game for, let's move over to the next game, Liberty, if they were to win, with Clovis North being the 5 seed. That would give Liberty a home game if they were able to pull this out. Here's a very unique game. This is what D1 football should be all about. You've got 2 great teams in Liberty and Bullard. Bullard playing about as well as anybody else along with Liberty. You just go down the line and you look at this. Bullard has 2 losses. It was to Sacramento Power Grant, who lost in the quarterfinals last week to Granite Bay up in the Sac Joaquin section. Grant, obviously, a team that had to deal with real-life tragedy after their starting quarterback, J.J. Cavalo, was tragically murdered just hours before their first-round game was supposed to be played. And the team had to wait until Monday to play the game. They had to deal with tragedy and losing one of their players. That's something that no coach or player should ever have to go through, but that was something that they had to go through. And they lost a lead to Granite Bay last week, so their season ended. But that's a good loss for Bullard. And then also you look at Liberty, who lost to Mission Viejo and San Diego Cathedral Catholic. And then Liberty also lost to Ridgeview. You look at those teams. Liberty's 3 losses earlier in this season, all to teams that are still in their respective section semifinal games. Liberty is on a 7-game winning streak. They've scored at least 40 points in those games. 6-game win streak, and they've scored at least 40 points in all of those games. They also have a win over Buchanan out of Clovis in September, where you look at Bullard, their only other loss was to Sanger, who was also in the semifinals. So you look at a very evenly matched team, but here we are at home at Liberty tomorrow night when you've got Jordan Love, Quincy Jounty, Chris Barnes, Curtis Brown, Matt Hubble, Johnny Balderas. You can go down the line, center Jake Sweeney. This is a Liberty team that Friday. Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, it is only Wednesday. So you look at a team on Friday night that's going to play this game, Liberty at home. You've got to figure they're going to be back in the section title game for the second year in a row, whether it be up at Clovis or right here at home. You got to figure that Liberty's going to win this one. Zach and I both have the Patriots moving on. Zach has it 34-28 in favor of Liberty, and I've got Liberty winning 28-14. So that's the way you have it. You've got 6 Kern County teams left in the Central Section semifinals. In D1, Liberty playing Bullard at home. Ridgeview's got Sunnyside at home. Golden Valley up at Hanford. That's a game that I'll be at. Zach will be at the Liberty game. We have Stephen Lynch over at Ridgeview. And then in D4, Chavez is at home. And then Kennedy's at home in D6. And then obviously they're playing Cal City. So those are your 6 teams left from Kern County. We've got volleyball on Saturday and the SoCal semifinals. And then obviously we got the state championship for cross country up at Woodward Park, Fresno. So you guys all have a great holiday weekend. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Be safe, be happy, and we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy.
Is looking deep down the left side. Mendeville into the end zone. Touchdown!